Hey everybody, Kayla Troutman talking here. It is October 28th. I'm so excited. There are so many of you on the call tonight. I'm so proud of all. This is our lead call. This is our fourth one already? Yeah, our fourth one. I want to quick give you guys a little side note. We were having a quick sidebar conversation before I hit record on this group and how everyone that's here, I encourage you strongly, Carissa does, Sarah does, to finish this out. No matter what your end result ends up being, I encourage you to finish this program out. But look around right now on the Zoom. If you're watching the recording, look at the people on the call, names or videos, and I want you to start to pay attention. There may be your Carissa in this group. And I say that because this week I had a couple conversations with people, and they said to me these words: I need what you and Carissa have. It's so awesome. It's so special. And then, you know, Sarah's a part of that. And you guys three-way call each other and you talk about incentives and prizes and, you know, what are you doing at your parties for sampling and all the things that you guys might have questions that right now you bring to an upline, which is totally fine. There is so much power in having a pacing partner. So one of the homework things I want to give you tonight is if your personality thrives on having a person or a triad, start to think about if you see those people in this group as they talk and share their stories, as they share. If Tina's listening and she hears Jen or Michelle or Bridget saying something and she's like, gosh, that person has a lot of similarities, that might be worthwhile for you guys to reach out. And of course, we're willing to help you. But think about that, because I first paced with someone from Louisiana, and then I paced with someone from Denver and Montana, and the three of us paced together. And then I found Carissa. And don't worry, Chris and I do not plan on breaking up anytime soon. We have an agreement to give each other written warning if we're ever going to leave this partnership, and plenty of written warning because we're roomies. But why I say that is everybody works differently. That may make you sick to your stomach. You may not like accountability like that, like Carissa was just saying before. But if you need that, that may help you and be just the oomph you need to work a little harder and be accountable to somebody else. Does that make sense? Shake your head if that's you get it. Yeah? Okay, cool. Just want to start with that thought. Okay, who's got good news? Let's go, guys. End of the month. Who's sharing something awesome?
I can go first.
Please.
This is kind of good news, bad news, but I had 4 parties set up for this month. 2 of them actually canceled or postponed. One of them was a friend who had no one show up, so I felt really bad for her. But the 4th one was kind of my last ditch to get that 4th one in there, so I asked my mom to do a online party, which I'm not real good with online parties, and I don't hold a lot of hope for them always, because that's not really my style, but it ended up being over a $500 party, so I was really proud of that.
Super awesome. And it always pays to reach for that last event or go for like the criteria or the goal. That's awesome, Nicole. Thank you. Who else?
I had my biggest month in sales so far. Just I think from my reaches, because even if they didn't want to join or whatever, a lot of them still put an order in.
Yay, Jen, that's exciting. I get excited over that stuff. Doing the reaches, that's exciting. Good for you, Jen. Thanks for sharing. Who else? Oh, Bridget, I can't hear you.
I said, I'm still here. That's what I'm excited about.
Yay, yes. Now we can hear you. That's good.
So I'm still catching up from last week. So
yeah, but you're here and you're on tonight, and I'm so proud of you as looks like packing lunches or something. So good for you. Like, way to, seriously, you guys, that's how you do it. You do personal development and things like this that aren't necessarily income producing. Well, you do shit that has to get done for your family. I get that. No guilt. I've given Macaulay a bath before just because then I knew he'd be in the bathtub and I was right there, obviously, so he wouldn't drown. But then I could talk to Carissa and chart out a Christmas sale and what we're going to do. Like, good for you, Bridget. Way to be on and way to commit. Awesome job. I see more faces. And phone numbers I don't see faces. Come on, people.
I didn't have such a good week this week. It was
Okay.
kind of one of my fallout weeks. I had
Okay.
a death in the family, and we had lots of family over, and I couldn't find the time to do it. So it was one of my rough weeks. I still kind of reached out to family when I did see them, and we kind of had some talks, but other than that, it wasn't. And I did have a cancel of one or a postpone of a party right now because it was her mom that died. So
yeah.
it kind of, I feel bad, but it is what it,
Yeah.
nothing I can do about that.
Yeah, and Megan, I'm glad you spoke up. Thanks for unmuting to say that, because you guys, like, it's not all roses. If you're in my team, you saw my truth this month. I had a rough go. The first week, I thought, holy crap, I'm going to have no parties by the end of this month, because every party I was calling, Megan, had legit circumstances. Like you said, like, of course I'm sad, like, crap. But at the same time, it was like death of a dog, death of a daughter. Like, that is like non-negotiable. I understand your attention is not going to be on selling taco seasoning with me. Like, totally get it. But I just want to encourage all of you, when that happens, take a deep breath. And even as a team leader, like, it's hard to reset for the next week, but just start with these couple principles. What do you have on your calendar right now that needs some attention for your business? Like, what parties do you have booked already, or what do you have to do to make the next vendor event you have coming up a success? So take care of that first. Any follow-up you owe people, do that next. Recruit follow-up, or sales follow-up, or booking follow-up, and then hunker back down to the basics after that, right? So what do you need to do? Go back to making daily reaches. If 5 or 10 scares you, make 2 reaches a day until it gets easier again. Like, but just don't put yourself in like that paralyzed mode, because you'll regret it later. The trickiest thing in this business, and I think Michelle, she's not on camera right now, but she shared in the chain this week that she often finds herself having like a great month or great week, and then she stops that momentum from happening. Something happens and momentum stops. And I will tell you, that's probably the biggest secret that any successful person in our industry would tell you, is keep the momentum going. You got to keep it going, even when it's hard. It's totally okay to own that. Now find your way that you're going to pick it back up. So thanks for unmuting, Megan, because that's real stuff that happened this week.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm still here, and I'll try to get back and maybe do double this week. But I mean, things happen, and I still had a party, an online one, which there was someone else that said it. The online party was not like, it just felt awkward to me. I kind of like doing the in-person a little better. I mean, it was nice because it was from people from Chicago and all over that were, it was able to reach to that area. And I did get some sales. I'm working on finalizing everything on the party right now. But I mean, at least I had one still through the rough week. So
yeah. And I think that's when online can be really cool, is like Nicole said, it was her backup. Online can be bonus. Anytime I book an online, I do know in my head that it could go really well, or it could go not so good, but I didn't leave my house. I didn't give a lot of catalogs out or any cost. So way to go, Megan. Way to do that around your crazy week. Anyone else? Thanks for sharing again. I love the honesty in this group. That's part of this program. I don't think
a couple of you that shared things over the weekend that aren't talking for good things.
Yeah, Tabitha, who's 0155? I'm so sorry, person, because I should know whose number that is. Why don't I know it?
Is that Jessica?
Hi, ladies. It's Jessica.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to know. I didn't mean to. No, I was just curious whose number it was. And you're welcome in our call, obviously, even if it wasn't you. I didn't even care. I just was like, who's on here? Okay, I want to know, does anybody else have good news they want to share? Otherwise, I'm going to share for somebody else, and then we'll get going. Okay, if you think of it, just unmute yourself, because I can see the screen, so I can see when people are muted and unmute. Tabitha's not on tonight, but she goes to work at the crack of dawn, like at 3:30 in the morning. Tabitha works each day, and she is at 23 or 2,400 right now in team sales. So we talked about it last night, and she's going to run. She's going to try to hit it this month, first month numbers. So if everybody wants to just share her on, it's Tabitha Holbach. She's in our lead group, so you can find her name there if you want to shoot her a message. This is a huge deal for Tabs. She joined in May after Cinco de Mayo. She hosted a Cinco de Mayo workshop for me. Does not have a lot of supportive family and friends. Her mom and her aunts are supportive, but as you guys know, that only carries you so far. She's finding out this month that you definitely have to overbook because she's had some cancellations, but she's very good at recruiting. He has, I think, added a recruit a month since she joined, basically June, July, August, September. Yeah, I think she has 4 or 5 team members. So she really focuses on that. And with that, thank goodness, that's totally helping her get there this month when she had a ton of cancellations. So I just want to share that success with you and let you guys know that there are people coming out of this. And as you guys know, right before we started the actual lead classes, Jennifer, I'm going to get it wrong. Chris, is it Jennifer on your team that promoted out? Yeah. Okay, I almost blinked for a second, sorry.
Amanda.
Okay, yeah, so we are, guys, this does work, but we also want to quick add a little bit of a note tonight. Bridget, you've been here before, like with Wild Tree longer, you're not brand new. Who else has been here more? Well, Dawn, of course, is on. Who's been here more than a year with Wild Tree? Anyone else? I don't
I think I have. I
Okay,
think it's been over a year. I don't know if Dawn and Chris know. I think so.
It's
Yeah,
been
I think
over a
it
year for you,
was
Megan.
last
Yeah,
year.
I thought so. But I was I stopped for a while, and then my life got busy, and now I'm kind of restarting.
sure, totally. Why I was asking that question is I wanted you guys to know sometimes if you've been here longer, this is actually harder, but I agree on this. Don will probably agree on this. There's certain things that we put up roadblocks on, we get in our own way, stuck in like, I'll be honest, you guys, I still tell myself when I do an invite, oh man, this is going to take like 2 hours. Because I'm not kidding you, when we used to do Google Docs and create some things for Wild Tree, it used to take like an hour a party. And I get extreme anxiety now over that. Like when I sit down, I have to psychologically like say, and this isn't funny, like Nate caught me the other day, I'm like, Kayla, it's only going to take a couple minutes. It's fine. Just make the invite and coach your hostess. So we all still have those hangups. I mean, I'm successful here and I still have things that I know used to be really hard for me. They still make me nauseous now, but guess what? An invite now, going in, manage party, create the link, send it out to a hostess via text. If she wants a Facebook invite, boom. Like so quick and easy. So I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about faking it till you make it. That's our topic. But the message I want you to take away from this all is if whatever Sonara says or whatever I say, Carissa says, Sarah says, whatever is not your style, take the basic lesson and make it what it needs to be for your business. So Kathy McCool and Sonara and Holly, they don't like Facebook at all anymore and they're not doing any Facebook events. Cool. Hell yeah for them. That's awesome. But guess what? I'm a millennial and most of my friends love having that Facebook event as like a save the date. So make the damn save the date Facebook event. It doesn't matter. Do you guys get what I'm saying tonight? Like do what you do to run your business. At the end of the day, please don't let the lead class or the lead program lose you in the process. Because when Carissa and I promoted, and probably Bridget the first time through, and probably Dawn, there was no class. There was no help at all. I'm just going to say we flung shit at the wall and just kind of like spaghetti noodles when you're testing to see if they're done. And we just hoped they were done. Like that's legit what we did. So I don't want to downplay this program. I think it's amazing. I wish I would have had it. But I want to start what I'm going to say next with that energy. Carissa, anything you want to add to that?
No. And the biggest thing is when I promoted too, and I know Dawn, obviously, when she promoted too, is that she had people like this to talk to, bounce ideas off, and hold her accountable. So I think that's huge. So yeah, whatever Sonara's saying or, Kathy's saying or some other person that you see their names in lights are saying, and you're just like, oh, that doesn't feel like something I want, my style, like Kayla said, or something that you want to do, then do what works best for you. But just make sure you're plugged in and doing it, not just here to be a body, but here to produce your, the work, the income producing activities. So.
Yeah. So tonight's lesson for you guys from us on this lead call, and then I want to hear you guys' thoughts. So I'll make sure to not talk too long. Man, have we had some interesting conversations one-on-one with team members, Carissa and I privately, Sarah and I privately, oh my gosh, across the company. This phrase, fake it until you make it. You might have thought I was going to come on here tonight and tell you If you're at a vendor event and no one shows up, you pretend like 50 people came to your booth and you post a selfie loud and proud at that vendor event and you do all the things to make it look like 100 people showed up. And that is some advice I would give you. But actually, tonight's lesson is the opposite. When I listen to some of the words that Sonara says in her lessons, if I said them to people, you guys now know Sonara enough after 3 lessons or 4 lessons, and me enough after hearing me talk, watching me on social media. Are we the same person? Like, I just want some reaction to that. Okay, so I literally cannot pick up the phone and say, hey, Nicole, I was wondering if you have a few minutes to chat, and you say, of course, Kayla, call me. I call you, and for some reason, the words, I crack up. I could never say this. Hey, Nicole, I'm working with my VP of sales to double down the size of the company I'm working with. Can I pick your brain on this or whatever? That is not me 100 times over. It's damn good material. And it might be Bridget. I don't know Bridget's personality that well, but I do know that could be an awesome way for her to market her business. That would never work for me. And so something we've been coming across in the last week a couple of times, either in our one-on-one calls with you guys or just comments I've had made to me is, how did you get to where you got to? What script did you use? What words did you use? And honestly, it's my authentic self that finds success here. It is the dry shampoo, the undone hair, the yellow lab that runs, okay, who was on last year's Christmas video? This is true story. Making day one of the Christmas video, singing my little heart out on the first day of Christmas, and my damn dog runs into the road and almost gets hit by a car in the video. Like, that is what people buy from Kayla Troutman. They buy a shit show. Like, I don't even know. I'm not Sonara. If I act like I'm all put together like that, my friends and family would think she's lying. Like, she's lying. So I want you to think for a second, okay? What's the last 5 things you posted online? Whatever they are. Think for a minute. Might be your kid's Halloween, might be Wild Tree. Like, think about your group, think about whatever you're in. It's not really you. Your real words, your real life. That's already like knock number 1 on getting to leader. Carissa posts.
Oh, we lost her. She just got kicked off for a second. Oh, she's probably frantically trying to. What?
Said she was too authentic. It kicked her off.
Right? They're like, lies. Psh, no. Let's see if I can figure out. There she is. And we're back.
Oh, did you lose me for a second?
Yeah, we lost you when you said Carissa posts, and then you got kicked off.
Sarah Lerner just tried calling me, so maybe she couldn't get into the Zoom, but she tried calling my phone, which then kicked me off of Zoom. So sorry. We blame Sarah, okay? But what I was saying is, Carissa gets up in the morning and she makes her kids a hot breakfast. That's important to her. Her customers love that because they've come to know that that's something she does for her family. Now, that being said, I'm just going to pick one of you. Jen, your house in the morning might be like World War III. I have no idea, but it might be really rough. Like, you might be literally dragging your kids by their ankles out of their bed. So you might see Carissa's banana bread and think, shut the hell up. Like, seriously, nobody's making banana muffins at 6 a.m. at my house. Like, I'm lucky if the kids don't get like truancy things because we're late every day. So like, that's funny. So what you need to do is build on that. Like, if that's you, I don't know. Each of us are different, right? Megan, you had a rough week, you said. It's okay to tell your customers, like, hey, you guys, I'm off this week. We had an unexpected death in the family. Here's a coupon code if anybody's out of anything, but I'll be back on Monday fully committed again. Thanks for grace.
That's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah, these kinds of things are like how
People like it too. People like that you have a life outside of just Wild Tree.
Yeah, and I did tell the one that had a party on Wednesday while the death was happening and everything, and she's like, I'm sorry for your loss. I said, I'll finish everything, in a couple days, and I kind of, just said to her, I said, I'm back, I'm working on finalizing everything, and she's like, great. So it wasn't a big deal. So
yeah. One thing I was going to say too, because I'm myself, the parties I do hold, sure, I have cancellations. Like I said, this month was the first month in a long while I've had cancellations. I will not lie. I was bragging about my success rate there for a while. I was like going 10 for 10. Like, it was awesome. And then I had a bunch of cancellations. But something I noted about my parties I did hold this month, those people and I clicked. The hostesses were awesome. The guests, we had so much fun. I turned haters or doubters into believers without having to convince them. Just showing them our taco seasoning, doing the tasting, being Kayla, showing authentic service, right? So a couple of things that I want to give you guys as notes, and then we'll have open conversation here until Zoom kicks us off. Following up with people is key. So like Megan, life happens. You doing something like that to alert people shows them that you're still present. Most of the time, people think in our industry, you're going to last 6 months or less and fall off. I hate to tell you that. They're used to the inconsistencies and the terrible reps or the reps that are just here for a discount that give everybody their discount. So if you have that lousy friend in your circle that keeps asking you for a discount, it might just be because when she buys 31 bags, that rep gives her a discount every time. So don't be offended, okay? So number one, just be consistent and be real. The second thing is we do not care. If I post something on Facebook, I know anything I post on Facebook, Bridget can take, Jen can take, Nicole can take, Carissa can take. But my best advice is when you take it, make it your own. Sarah always says this great example. If you're not from the South, you probably don't say y'all. You might say you all, or you might say, I always say, hey friends. If you know me, I start out like every Facebook message or every post with like, hey friends, hey friend, hey girl. Some people find that rude. Don't post that. Like personalizing the things that you see and using real life pictures versus app pictures. You might think, really, Kayla, this is the lead program. Why are we going back over like Wild Tree 101 here? But I am serious. When I analyze all the conversations I've had this last week, people want to know what those of us that are finding big success here are doing. Guys, I do all the things Sonara's teaching. I just use Kayla Troutman words. When I reach out to people, I reach out in a way I'm comfortable with. And truth be told, I do a lot of Facebook messaging and a lot of texting, and my customers and people that I work with love that. That being said, thanks to Sonara's training, I did jump on the phone more times than I would have normally, and I've had some great conversations in the last week. Anybody else either talk on the phone more in the last week than you would have otherwise, or have more phone calls in general? Anybody? Am I the only one? Okay, because I'm a millennial and I totally use Facebook Messenger or text, but yeah, that was definitely super good from her lesson. But not all the words, not all the recruiting script, all that is perfect. So Carissa, what else on social media and faking it till you make it? There's a big difference between. Go ahead.
The biggest thing I see too is that, like we were having a conversation. I mean, so I have friends like this on Facebook where they share something and I'm like, that is not how you are in person. Like you're not like that at all. Like, so people know, they can read between the lines if you're just being something to feel like you have to, like your friends on Facebook owe you something, or like when you're messaging and you're not being authentic with maybe it's a goal or something that you're trying to hit, but you're just like, oh hey, I'm trying to hit a goal. Like it's just the words and the being spammy that just people can read in, like they read into that. They know what you're trying to do. I always like to say to people when you share things, and like when Megan's like, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. I mean, you do such a great job already sharing what you and your son do during the days, and people love that. Share that in your recipe club, because I feel like when people see me post about other like yesterday I posted it, my costume in my recipe club, people want to see what else you do outside of Wild Tree, because if all you're doing is sharing just Wild Tree in your recipe club, they're going to think you're working 24/7. They're going to think all you do is Wild Tree. They're not going to talk to you about anything else, or they're not going to want to talk to you about anything else, because all they think is you're going to do is talk to them about Wild Tree. I mean, share your life. I know social media is, you don't want to like put everything out there. There's things that you can like block and people can't see certain things, whatever, like private things. But it's like your online resume. People see what you share. People have Facebook profiles for their kids already, and that just got born, that were just born. I love social media because it's like my online photo album. Like all my digital photos go there. So like I upload every picture that I take of my kids because it's saved on there, and I'm not printing them off and losing them. But the biggest thing is just be consistent when you're sharing but don't be like an oversharer, if that makes sense. So you don't want to share like 5 Facebook posts about Wild Tree and then, one about one with your family. Like, just kind of mix it up a little bit. And I really want to pinpoint too, when Kayla said about like copying word for word. I mean, Kayla's got some really great things that she shares and it's coming from her heart. But like she said, sometimes like I don't say, hey friend or whatever. Sometimes I don't say things like what she would say. So personalize it to make it sound like you, because if you're out there going saying y'all and all this and people are like, who the hell is this person? Like they don't know who to believe and they don't know who you are and you're not coming off authentic. They're not going to buy taco seasoning from you. Just bottom line. They're going to go find someone else that they can relate to, that they can trust, and that's someone that makes them laugh and they feel comfortable with. And, I think that's a big reason why, Kayla has a bunch of people that come back to her and that, follow. Like, and same with me too. I was at a vendor event, or I went and visited a vendor event on Saturday in Green Bay here, and the Wild Tree rep I knew, whatever. So I was talking to her, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so funny. A couple of your customers came through, and they're just like, sorry, I already buy from Krista." And I would never be mad if they bought from somebody else, but that just shows like I worked really hard at building that relationship, and they know who I am, and they can trust me, and that they can come to me with questions and things that they need for their family. So just be really authentic and share things, share what you're doing in life, share your recipes, interact with people, because if you can't get in front of them, then use this as your next platform. So that's all I have to say. I'm very passionate about this subject, if you haven't picked up on that. So I just don't like the whole copy paste. Like Ashley's really good with like her little pictures too, like her recipes.
Really
and you
good.
see people just blast it all over the place, the same thing in what she said, and it's like, okay, you don't have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old. So, just be aware of what you're doing.
Okay, I got to add 2 more things and then open forum. I got to quickly give you guys my last 2 tips because you're going to want them. One of the reasons that we wanted to talk about this is Sarah and Carissa both, thank you for complimenting me this week. I recruit guys a lot, good numbers, and I recruit off of social media by being me. I don't think I asked Nicole, who's on here tonight, to join my team. Okay, like I'm not the perfect recruiter in a sense. I don't use the best words and I don't ask everyone to join my business. But you know what I do? I showcase what this business does every avenue. When I want to lose weight, when I'm drinking my protein shake, when I'm home with my son for speech therapy, because that's where God needs me, home for speech therapy. I make Insta stories and have a ton of fun with showcasing my life. I show the toys and the trinkety things I'm buying him because other moms, that serves them. So my real addition to this world, the way God's using me right now, is as a dinner time hero or a dinner time queen, a comic relief to other stay-at-home moms or busy moms in general. So I use Insta stories and Facebook stories. I had it linked. And I make stories throughout the day that really do help people. I show them about our Wild Tree Meals app, but I also show them what the latest and greatest learning toy is that I bought Macaulay that we're going to be playing with this week. And in doing that, I also show them where I buy my sports bras or, my crazy dry shampoo addiction or whatever it is. I serve people. So if you can find your niche and serve people, it might be because you're a working mom. Bridget's really busy and she's, struggling to do all the things she does, but you can find a way to make that her niche and serve busy people. And Carissa's got kids ranging in from baby, like littler than Macaulay, to a kid that's very successful in sports. And we all have a niche in this world, I guess, is what I want you to hear. So I showcase that. The other thing is Carissa just nailed it. Friday night, I drank way too much wine before the demo. Guys, I was like sweating. The wine had gotten to me and I was like, not drunk, but I definitely had more wine than you should before you do your demo. This is what the hostess wrote about me on Facebook. Public shout out. Thank you so much, Kayla Troutman, for tonight. You, as I suspected, did not disappoint. You are great at what you do, and tonight was so much fun. You sold me all over again, just like when I first met you a couple months back. And from now on, I'm not going to come to Wild Tree parties just to get the free food, but for the awesomeness of the product. And then, guys, it has 12 likes and all of her guests commenting on it from that party. I don't say that to brag, but do you really think I did my best demo ever with 3 glasses of wine already in my system? Probably not. But I really needed wine that night. It was a long week of networking nights and whatever, probably irresponsible. But what I'm saying is they come back to Wild Tree because of the experience. So be that, and you're all that. If you're listening to me, you're like, you're way more animated than me. That's bullshit. People don't buy from you because you're animated. But be you. Find what your niche is. Okay, open forum for the last 5 minutes here. Sorry, I just had to get that out because it's important that you realize, yes, I don't want you to ever post on Facebook. Nobody came to my vendor event today. My booth looks like shit. Like, don't, no. Fake that until you make it. But don't fake the rest of your life. Okay, go ahead, Bridget. I see you talking.
So you guys have separate Facebook pages from your recipe club.
Yes. Is that a question?
Yeah.
Yes, I have a Kayla Troutman Facebook page and then a Kayla's Wild Tree Recipe Club, which is a group.
Okay. So do I. So I don't generally, my friends are in my recipe club and they have to be friends with me to get into the recipe club because I have to add them. So you post both of your life in your recipe club and on your regular page?
Good question. I do post tidbits of my life and my family in my recipe club. And just like if we're on a free trip, yes, that goes in my recipe club. If we're using a Wild Tree paycheck to do something, that goes in my club. If my kiddo's sick, it goes in my club because it affects my office hours and when I'm working. So the things that would actually relate to my customers, kind of like an open close sign on a front door, I kind of do that kind of stuff in my group. I also do teasers on my main wall to get people into my club. And at my parties, I say, everyone pull out your cell phone right when we're starting. If you're not yet a customer of mine, you have a chance to win a prize right now. Go into Facebook, find my group. I usually have anywhere from 6 to 10 do this at night. And then I close my eyes and I just roll my finger over all the member requests. And I pick a winner and I give them a taco night kit. To start out the party, I've now got their attention because I just gave them a prize for doing nothing but following me on Facebook. And then I quickly hit accept. I do lose some, of course. Some of those people just wanted the free taco night kit. But I mean, I probably get 50% at least to stay, I think. So.
All right, something that I do that I was low carb, I still kind of am. And for about a year and a half, all the recipes I did, I focused them on being low carb and finding different ideas. So I showed people how to make a wrap out of collard greens. And I did that on both my personal page and on my business page. And so all the Wild Tree recipes that I did were low carb. And I had a great following from that. And I still do. And I watched some of my friends kind of like go the low carb way just by following me. And the other thing that I tend to do is I don't always use the freezer meals. I like to showcase a product.
Yeah.
Use this in a recipe that calls for something else. Look what I can use and switch it around. So that's kind of what I do to some different things that I do.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you're sharing it. That's just it. And Bridget, I had a customer say to me the other night, she messaged me and she said, you know that the Italian beef sandwich would be healthier without the garlic sauce and the bun. And I literally just wanted to send her a gun emoji to my head, but I didn't think that would be appropriate because of course I know that. But it's neat that you said that because I think these different things, like saying even the word you could substitute this or whatever, that's your niche. That's your brand then. People will follow you just for that reason. That's amazing. Yeah. I love that.
I've seen some of your recipes. I like the one you did with I think it was like a mug cake with a shake. And I was like, ooh, that's really cool. Before I can post something like that, I have to try it for myself.
Yeah.
I use, your stuff, but I use my picture. So that
right.
I tasted this. This was really great. So.
Right. And please note, everybody, not everybody feels the need to do that. But I'm more like you, Bridget. I actually got the recipe from a Beachbody coach. She sent it to me and actually said, you should do this with your Wild Tree shake. I bet it'd be really good. So I made it myself. And that's why now I have 2 pictures in my club. I've made it 2 times. And I would like to try things like that too, just because with protein shakes especially, it can be pretty or weird. But note that anytime I share anything, guys, I'm not going to discourage you guys to share things. Take your head if you understand. We want you to share on social media and or in real life and have conversations and all the things. This is not to discourage you from copying or whatever. But a major light bulb went off. You do that too much, you're not Bridget anymore. You're not Nicole. You're not Dawn. You're pretending Kayla and Carissa, directors of Wild Tree, versus let's be strong, proud team leaders. Let's get you to be really what your goal is and be proud of that and find your brand. And thank you, Ashley, for all the amazing things you share because I take it all. It is really good. I just push it out a few days and change the whole because you are really good in the kitchen. There, I said it. I steal all of her stuff. Just want to make sure I validate that she knows I'm very grateful for every graphic. Anybody else? You're gonna get kicked off, so use the chain after we get bumped. Recording right away.